ever. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. Our national insider on baseball is USA Today's great Bob Nightingale, back on Coast to Coast. You know, you're out there in Phoenix, and they've had like 105 or something straight days over a C note in the temperatures. It's just constantly a microwave oven out there. It's crazy. But the Diamondbacks have not been playing well. They're winning today. They look like they're going to win today and finally get a game at the Black Hole in Colorado at Coors. It's not over yet, but they're up 6-2, and they've been up. They were up 6 runs. Is this just a bad little stretch funk for them, or is it something more serious? Because like over the last 2.5 months, they played great baseball and put themselves in position to be a dynamic team in the playoffs again.
Yeah, they're just going through a little funk. That's it. And they were playing out of their minds for a while. They were bound to cool off. And the pitching's been a little shaky. I mean, but you're still great pitchers with the fresh arms, because these guys have missed some time this year. And who knows, it's not like they know they're going to make the playoffs. It's like, if you think about it, they may be better off being the number 6 seed, playing the Brewers first round like a year ago, rather than going to San Diego or even having the Padres come to Phoenix. I think the Brewers would be the long shot in National League. And I think anybody would rather face the Brewers, nothing against the Brewers, but you'd probably rather face the Brewers than the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, I mean, the Padres are no joke, and they're playing a day game today. I think it starts at like, 3:40 or something in the West. And that's a great game today out there at Petco. And they've been on the same kind of tear as Arizona has for the last couple of months. They've been amazing.
They have a dangerous team, deepest, best bullpen in baseball, playing great. I mean, they slashed that payroll. They dumped Soto. Guys I'll leave as a free agent like Snell and Hader, and they're a better team. I mean, now they come back, and they're dangerous. They're a much more complete team now than they've been in years. Obviously, they never won a World Series before. They think this could be the year.
So Scooble goes tonight for Detroit at the K in Kansas City against Marsh and the Royals. He really has been phenomenal. 16-4 with a 2.5 ERA, a 0.94 WHIP, 214 Ks. He's only walked 33 guys all year. He's going to win the Cy Young. But more importantly, they're a game and a half out. If Cleveland could win tonight at home over Minnesota and Scooble can win in Kansas City, they'd be staring at, they'd really be sniffing it now at a half game out. Tonight is huge for them with their ace on the mound.
It is. I heard you talking about Scooble before. The one place where he struggles pitching is Kansas City. He's got a career, I think, over 6 ERA at that place for whatever reason. He's a definite Cy Young Award winner. He'll be unanimous. But it's amazing. That's the one place that drives him crazy. So we'll see. Hey, KC better start turning around, or they may miss the playoffs. But you're right. Here's Detroit. They give up completely at the trade deadline, dump their guys, dump Jack Flaherty, and now they're playing lights out. You wonder what would have happened if they kept Flaherty. Would they have made the playoffs?
So why do you think he struggles so badly in that ballpark? It's not like a hitter, which might have a sight line, picking the ball up, coming off the hand, the release point of a backdrop in a ballpark. I could see that. I really don't, frankly, understand what is so hard about a guy throwing strikes and working his stuff on the dish. I don't get why guys are jinxed in certain ballparks, but I guess it just happens.
Yeah, you see it all the time. It's almost like a Devers, Rafael Devers, Garrett Cole thing. Why can't Cole get out Devers? Why does he give up? I'm sure it gets, in your head and psychological. Royals are a nice team. They do have a nice home field advantage there. Bobby Witt is much better at home than the road. But yeah, just one of those mind-boggling things is why does he struggle? He's a young pitcher, but why does he struggle so much at Kauffman Stadium? So it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight.
Hinch has done a great job in Detroit, and I think it's gone unnoticed. I don't even think people realize that's where he is after Houston, after suspensions, after trash cans, after everything else. He is really starting to win again like he used to in Houston.
Yeah, it's been a while. People kind of saying what's happening here. You're supposed to turn things around. It hasn't worked. Hey, a lot of those guys, young guys now, were by the previous regime, Al Avila. They're kind of his guys, and now they've stepped up. There wasn't any pressure, particularly after giving up at the trade deadline. Those young guys have played well. So no matter what happens, I mean, it's still a long shot to make the playoffs. Remember now, they lose a tiebreaker against the Twins. So even though they're 1.5 out, they're really 2.5 out. Hey, people are going to be picking them to win that Central Division next year.
So, Bob, I was in Vegas at the Canelo fight on Saturday. I was there, and I was talking to my buddy about they're tearing down the Trop like in early October. It's coming in a few days. They're going to implode the building. They've already gutted it. It's sitting there all empty and everything like a shell. It looks like something you'd see in Ukraine after, the Russian bombings. It's just this giant shell of a casino, right? And I said to my buddy, I said, they're going to tear it down. They're going to start building the new ballpark. I said, is baseball going to work in Las Vegas? You know what he said to me? He said, of course it will. It's only going to have 30,000 seats. It's a city of entertainment. 30,000 is nothing. And tourists come there, they party, they want to do things, they want to go to shows, they want to go to hockey games, they want to go to Raider games, they want to go to baseball games. He thinks the small, intimate ballpark they're building will work. Do you buy that?
I don't. I think it's going to be a failure there. And the reason I say that is I live in Phoenix. It's the fourth, fifth largest city in the country. It has trouble surviving here. Same temperature and everything else. They got a retractable roof, so it's, comfortable watching a game. But to your point, I don't see people flying to Vegas in the summertime and, you're hanging by the pool, going to clubs and things like that. The last thing I want to do is go see a ball game. You can go see it in your own city. I just don't see people flocking to the ballpark there. It's different with hockey and it's smaller schedule, certainly different for the Raiders. If the NBA comes there, which I think they will, I think it'll work there. I just don't know about baseball in Las Vegas.
So a lot of big shots on TV are rambling on about how they think the Yankees are going to win the pennant. Do you believe that they're that good, that they're just going to waltz through the playoffs? I don't believe for 1 minute that they're that much better than anybody else.
I don't either. I'll take the field for sure. If you ask me right now who would be the favorite to win the pennant, I might go right back to the Astros again. They've been to 7 straight ALCSs. They know how to win. Got a much better bullpen than the Yankees. Got a deeper rotation than the Yankees. Kyle Tucker's back. He's fresh. Alvarez is a monster. And, of course, you still have Altuve and Bregman. So we'll see. Now, I think the Astros could give them fits. And that's a team that always seems to beat them come crunch time.
So do you believe that and I have a minute, that the Braves are not going to make the playoffs?
I think they will. I know they're 2 games back. We're talking right now. They know how to win this time of year. I know they're banged up and everything else. Remember, next week, they got 3 games in Atlanta. So, they got to win at least 2 of those 3, if not sweep the series. But Atlanta wins this time of year. The Mets don't win this time of year. We'll see what happens. Big weekend with the Mets having to play the Phillies.
So you almost think the Mets are going to be the ones that choke?
Yeah, a nice second half for everything else. I hate to call it a choke, but I don't think they make it. I know they got 2-game lead. I'll still pick Atlanta. They know how to win this time of year. The Mets have never proven they can win this time of year.
Hold on, Mavi. Let me just say what he's saying to me in my ear. Tell Bob to F off. What? Why would you say that?
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was playing, but he had that one was already going there.
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
So here's a game I'm worried about, Mike, is the Canes against the Bulls of South Florida Saturday. I think it's going to be a serious game. Listen, they gave Alabama fits, and then Alabama pulled away late. I think Miami might be in that same boat. I think they may have a game on their hands. We'll see if they can pull away late like Alabama did. But the Bulls have a defense, and they're tough, and they're physical, and they play. So that was a really good game going into the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden it wasn't.
It certainly was. And this game, of course, will be under the lights at Raymond James in Tampa. So not an easy trip for the Canes, who are now ranked 8th in the country with their 3-0 start. They're laying 16.5 right now. Here is Coach Mario Cristobal. We are not looking past the Bulls.
There's a lot to them that has made them successful. Tremendous amount of respect for their head coach, their coaching staff, know them and have seen them work at other places and what they have been building at USF as well. They got a great football team, and it doesn't take but 3 or 4 clips watching them play the University of Alabama for everybody to realize how drastic, how big of a step, how much of a how good of a team that really is. So the tape doesn't lie, and our guys have a chance to see it, so we're excited for a great challenge.
I'm telling you, they got their hands full in this game, and it's isn't it in Tampa? Isn't it at South Florida? Yeah, that's a nightmare game for Miami. Now look, their season could go down the drain here. You're ranked 8th, and you lose this game, and you will lose all respect, and they will pounce on him and blame him like he was a murderer if they lose this game. The spread is big. Don't be fooled by that spread. This is a good football game. I honestly believe that Tennessee, Oklahoma, and this Miami, South Florida are the 2 best college football games Saturday.
Seems that way indeed. When you talk about big spreads, look no further than in Columbus, where Ohio State is 40-point favorites against the thundering herd of Marshall, Scotty. Well, I know that's a very tough task for Marshall head coach Charles Huff, but he has an idea, Scotty, to maybe in today's day of NIL to pull some of the players from Ohio State over to him at Marshall.
I feel good about the track we're on. Trust me, I know where we are, but I feel good about the track we're on, and I feel good about the players we have. Would love to have some of those guys from Ohio State too. So if they want to transfer on down, we've got a Tudor's Biscuit NIL, all you can eat. So if any of those guys that run really, really fast at Ohio State like Tudor's Biscuits, I promise you, all you can eat all day if you transfer here. So, but yeah.
That is fantastic. They're going to get their ass beat.
They are going to get their ass beat, but at least Coach is having a little bit of fun with it while they're going to get their ass beat. So good for him, and he'll get some attention for that. That's a nice little clip. NC State visits Clemson on Saturday. This is the early window, Scotty, noon East. Clemson's laying some heavy lumber here, 20.5. Now, they were on a bye last week. They did not get to play, which means Dabo Swinney, he had to live like the rest of us, Scotty, trying to watch all the games on Saturday.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I am a big YouTube TV guy now. All right, I finally figured out how to get that freaking app on my phone. It's like a act of Congress. I mean, you got to have like birth certificates and all kind of stuff to get some of these things. I mean, like I don't know all these codes from, who's your provider. I mean, it's some crazy stuff on there. But anyway, I got the YouTube TV. And, man, it was awesome. I had my phone going. I had my iPad going with 4-screen. And I had the TV going. I would imagine some of y'all probably did the same thing. Because that's what you do for a living, right? Like, y'all gotta know what the heck's going on. I mean, we had a lot of teams playing that we're going to play. And so that's really what I did all day. I just watched ball all day. And it was awesome.
Ball.
Listen, I really love Saturdays. I think college football from noon until the time you literally pass out is nonstop. And I guess Sunday's the same thing, but Sunday's so crooked with the betting. I just think it's so really evil. I think the NFL is evil. I think betting the NFL is chaos and crazy and dangerous, and it's humbling. I think there's opportunities in college football to make some money. I really do. And I love watching the games all day. And I just think, and I've said this before, like the painted faces and all the costumes in the NFL, a little drummed up and phony for me. In college, it's simple. Everybody's hammered, drunk, and half naked, and they're real fans. Like, they don't show up, like, really for the most part with, the whole costumes on and everything else. They show up hammered. And they scream and yell and party, and they want to get naked, and it's just more fun. College football is more fun than the NFL. It's way more fun. I mean, on a whole nother level. I think the bands, the pomp and circumstance, the rowdy, their whole deal going on the field. They got all their mascots and everything else. The NFL pales in comparison to that. I know the NFL is the greatest show in the world to most people. I think college football is better. I like it better.
Yeah, it is fun. There's nothing like college football Saturdays. Swinging back to this game before we go to break, 20.5 seems a little heavy. I know the game's at Clemson, Scotty, but 20.5 for NC State, that seems like a lot.
Yeah, they've been disappointing to me so far. I thought that they were going to be a better team, and you would think that game would be tighter. I mean, there were some people that thought NC State had a shot to win the ACC, believe it or not. I know a lot of people immediately jumped on Florida State, and they're now bent over in KY Jelly Day. But there are legitimate people that thought NC State was going to be a good football team. Let's see them show up in Death Valley and give Clemson a game and prove it, because I don't believe it yet.
Yeah, they got to, especially after the way they got smashed, as you said, by the Vols, just absolutely destroyed. When we come back, I'm going to break a rule. You told me that you didn't want any more Dion. I just couldn't. I couldn't ignore this one that he had yesterday. So I got to give you Dion when we come back.
All right.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was playing! But he had that one river going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Harbor High always likes to throw in prime if he's starting up on people.
Right, and I know that we've made some decrees about several people here that we don't want to hear from them anymore on Coast to Coast. But, you know, when you just get so outlandish, I just can't avoid it, Scotty. So here you go. Here's Dion yesterday basically saying that the media now attacks college players because they get paid now.
Landscape has changed in football. Once upon a time, you guys never attacked college players. Now they're making more money than y'all. And some of y'all are envious and jealous about that. So you're on the attack. It was hands off a college player because he's an amateur. Remember that, guys? Now it's hands on. Go at them any kind of way you want. They're making more money than me, and I'm mad about it. I'm upset about it. And when you attack them, these guys are sensitive. They've never been attacked. Most of them are out of high school or 2 years or 3 years in college, but they're still sensitive to slander. They hadn't gone through what I've been going through with y'all for years. They haven't done that. So,
listen, he's saying that they're slandering players. Here's the reality of it. Come to grips with this, Coach. You are, and fair enough, there might be guys for certain that are not happy that there are college football players making millions of dollars playing at your school and other schools. There's guys making tons of money now playing college athletics. And they're professionals now. They're not college athletes anymore. It's a facade. In fact, I've said on a number of occasions, they don't even go to class. There is no such thing as an education anymore or a degree. Most of them, if they do it, they come back and finish school after their pro career. And that's a fact. But the reality is if you're making millions and you're at a big-time collegiate football program or basketball program, you better believe there should be heat in the kitchen from the media. I don't believe for 1 minute that little nonsense he just spewed about their high school kids. Some of them are been married 3 times with 6 kids. They've been there so long, and they've had 6, 7, 8, 9 years of eligibility. Guys, literally, they've got 5 jobs, 4 cars, 2 mortgages, a yacht. I don't want to hear it. This guy trying to play like these guys are all newborn babies is really ridiculous to me. The bottom line is this, is that this guy only uses the media to serve his interests. What he wants is manipulation of the media for his interests only. He doesn't like when they grill him or give his players the business or tell it like it is. He thinks the media is a pain in his ass unless he's using them. And I'll tell you another guy that's good at it, better than anyone, better than Deion Sanders, is his partner in crime at Aflac is Nick Saban. Nick Saban was the biggest phony I ever saw in my life. He hated the media's guts unless he wanted votes to get in BCS games, and he'd go on ESPN and do interviews and be the nicest guy in the world. You go near that guy when he's losing. You go near that guy on a press conference where he's in a foul mood. He would bite your head off. He hated the media unless he was using them. And Deion's the same way. No wonder they're lovers on their commercial with the duck.
Yeah, they are lovers. I remember last week on that, Saban saying, "Yeah, I got to root for my guy Prime. I think he's going to get it going there in Boulder." So they are buddies, that's for sure. We have a lot of big games this week. Let me give you one rack here. I'll give you the rest after you talk to JJ. We mentioned already NC State and Clemson. Kent State goes to Penn State. Now, if you remember, Kent State lost by 70 to Tennessee last week. Penn State couldn't cover a huge number when they played a MAC game. So USC and Michigan, enormous game in Ann Arbor, first Big Ten game for USC. We have Georgia Tech at Louisville, good game in the ACC, and UCLA, who got thumped by Indiana, now goes to LSU, and that's a big number, 24.5.
It's a big number, but they struggled mightily at Bryce Williams in Columbia, and they didn't cover, but they found a way to win. I think they're going to beat the snot out of UCLA in Baton Rouge, and particularly, I don't know if it's a day game or a night game. If it's under the lights, they're really going to slaughter them. They don't lose at night on Saturday nights down at the Rouge. I actually think Georgia Tech will cover that number against Louisville. I like USC to beat Michigan. The whole question comes down to that 5.5. I think Michigan's going to give them a game defensively. I don't think they can hang with them scoring. That's why I like the Trojans. I want nothing to do with that Penn State game. I still think Clemson handles NC State at Death Valley.
There you go. I'll give you a few more later before we get out of here today on Coast to Coast. I have a few more games for you for this week.
God bless you. What would it be if I didn't get through a few racks of college football games when it's all I care about?
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was exciting! But he had that program already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, The Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
So, JJ, John Jastrzemski of New York, on Ringer. He's on SNY TV. He's on FanDuel TV. He's everywhere, and he's always on C2C with us. Good to see you, JJ. I want to start with the Mets because we were talking to earlier about them to Bob Nightingale, and he said, in not so many words, he thinks they'll choke. He says they don't know how to win when it matters, and that the Braves do. And they know how to do this, and they'll get it done. They'll catch them, and that he believes the Mets will be the team on the outs. Meanwhile, we're watching the Mets kick ass and take names every single day, it seems like. Are you buying what he's selling?
So if you would have asked me this question, Scotty, after the Philadelphia series and after the Mets lost on Sunday and you get the bad news with Francisco Lindor, I would totally understand it. But think about how things have changed in the last 48 hours. The Mets go and win a dramatic game against the Nationals. Then they smoke them on Tuesday night. The Braves choke one away against the Reds. And here's the other dynamic that's at play. The Arizona Diamondbacks are completely falling apart. So who's to say it's got to be the Mets or the Braves? It might be the Mets and the Braves. To me, despite the fact that the Mets have questions with Lindor and you're waiting for the other shoe to drop with the rotation, I can't believe the starting rotation has been this good. I think they're going to find their way in. I really do. Like, if you would have kind of put me in this position a few days ago, I would have said, nah, they're going to fall apart. They'll lose to the Phillies. They'll lose to the Braves. Their season will be over. I think they're going to find a way, Scotty. And I looked at their future. Not that I think they're going to go and run through the National League, but I think the National League's wide open. It might as well be worth the flyer, maybe to throw a little 50 or 60 to 1 on some World Series action if they get themselves into the tournament.
Yeah, I think any team can win. Any team can get hot. You can win as a wild card. We've seen it happen over and over. I want to say this. Like, earlier in the show, I brought up the fact that the way the Yankees started in April, they won almost every game, and the Mets lost almost every game in April. And then if you go from after that fact until today, I think the Mets have been the better story. I don't deny the Judge and Soto angle. That's all they've had. But the Mets, to me, have been, frankly, more fun for the majority of the season of what they've accomplished after the failed start that they had.
I get that. They've been way more gutty, and they've been super resilient. Listen, not many teams overcome, 10, 11 games under 500 to put themselves in playoff positioning. They've been able to do that. Now, the Yankees, unfortunately, their expectations are so high that winning a division, it's not going to satisfy me. It's not going to satisfy my buddy Carver. It's not going to satisfy any of the Yankee fans out there. Scotty, the only way the Yankee fan is going to be truly satisfied is if the end of October rolls around and at minimum, they are representing the American League in the World Series. I mean, I was a senior in college, for goodness sakes, 2009, the last time the Yankees were in the World Series. Forget about winning it, in it. And I can throw and reference Detroit and Kansas City and Tampa and Arizona and Texas and all of these teams throughout baseball that have been in the World Series more recently than the New York Yankees. So I think from that satisfaction standpoint, the Mets didn't have expectations at the beginning of the year. The Yankees do, and the only way they pay them off and satisfy the fan base is win in October.
So Nightingale talked about the Astros being in 7 straight pennants. That they're the team that you should worry about because they know how to do it in October, and certainly not the Yankees. He said he'd bet the field over the Yankees 6 ways till Sunday. Do you agree with that?
So I like the Astros. So to answer that question, yeah, I'm taking the field. Again, Yankees haven't been to a World Series since 2009. I have no idea what their back end of the bullpen is going to look like. And I know their rotation has looked better with the return of Luis Gil, with Clark Schmidt being in the mix. There's still the million-dollar question of what Rodon is going to be in a big situation. Reminds me a lot of A.J. Burnett. Is he going to be the A.J. Burnett who was great in home starts in 2009? or is it going to be the abominable A.J. Burnett we saw on the road in that postseason? A lot of boomer busts with Rodon, and Cole has not been the same version of Garrett Cole that he was a year ago. See, the AL, Scotty, I'm not a believer in Cleveland. They don't hit. The Orioles have completely fallen apart. They have been awful. They lose 10-0 yesterday. I don't even think they're going to make it out of the first wild card series. I think Kansas City, quite frankly, is going to go and beat them. But the team that's standing in their way is Daddy. And I should have learned my lesson with the Dolphins and the Bills, because I was at the game Thursday and it was like, Charlie Brown going to kick the football and Lucy pulls it away. That's the way it's been for the Astros and the Yankees. It's Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown. Until you see the Yankees beat them when it counts, how can you honestly be confident? Honestly.
So you're on SNY, the Jets home, and they're playing tomorrow night, a big game at Snoopy, speaking of Charlie Brown, and they are taking on their enemy, the Patriots, who have owned them over the years, and they haven't looked bad in their 2 games for Mayo. What do you project for Thursday night in the Meadowlands?
This game is going to be disgusting, Scotty, and I think the total indicates it's such. Anytime you see a total under 40, kind of speaks volumes. I don't like this spot for the Patriots. The Patriots are beat up going into this game. Their best linebacker is not going to play. They got issues on the offensive line, and I never like taking teams on a short week on the road that played in overtime. Now, do I have the utmost confidence in Robert Saleh to have his team ready to go? Not necessarily, but the way I kind of look at this game is you take the Jets laying 6.5 or you stay away. Jets are a great tee spot. I don't see them losing the game. If I had to play a side and I don't love the game, I take the Jets laying 6.5.
How do you think the Giants will respond after their 3 tutties and no kicker mess last weekend? And Brian Dable has been feeling it. He's in a foul mood. He's having stare downs with Pat Leonard and everything else. Is he in trouble already? And he's been losing now. It's 2 years.
I don't think the Giants want to fire Brian Dable. But when you have incidents like he had on Sunday, it's only going to add more fuel to the fire. And look, we all know in a perfect world, John Mara wants Brian Dable to go and get the next quarterback. They tried to get the next quarterback. We all watched it on Hard Knocks. They couldn't end up with Daniels. They couldn't end up with May. So they said, okay, we'll run it back a year. We'll go get Neighbors, and we'll tolerate the idea of Daniel Jones being our guy. They can't make a mockery of this entire season. That, to me, is the way Brian Dable can play himself out of this job. And I'll say about this spot this week, look, I have no confidence the Giants are going to hold up against Cleveland's defense. But, Scotty, I don't know about you. You feel great about laying 6.5 or 7 points with the Johnson in that Cleveland offense? No, thank you. You're betting this game on Sunday. You hold your nose. You get the barf bag, you take the Giants, and hope for the best. There is no way I'm taking Cleveland on Sunday.
All right, so you know I'm a huge Canes fan, and you're a huge Dolphins fan. Do you think Miami can continue to have a great season in college? And do you think Tua Tagovailoa's career is over?
I don't think Tua's career is over. I think it's going to have this black cloud hovering over it whenever he comes back, which will probably be at the end of October. 4 concussions in 2.5, 3 years will do that to you. I'm curious to see how they weather the storm this week against Seattle. Line has moved against Seattle. I think they're live in the game. Got to run the ball like crazy. And your Canes, Scotty, listen, they're the team to beat. Maybe it's Miami and Syracuse in the ACC this year with my guy McCord. Let's go.
Yeah, that kid can play quarterback. They're excited to have him on the Orange. I didn't know they actually played football at Syracuse. Anyway, JJ.
They do now. Fran Brown, baby. Now we do.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Listen, stop. Just stop. Go do your TV show, Romeo. I'm glad you went down for that game. Sometimes you have to learn your lesson the hard way. Carver High's still laughing at you, the beating that the Dolphins took at the hands of the Bills. The Bills look fantastic. I'm going to the Steelers-Charger game on Sunday in Pittsburgh. That should be a good one. JJ, always a pleasure. Love you, buddy.
Thanks, Scotty.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was playing, but he had that program was already going there.
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Carver High, I want to hit these other college football games that you got for me on the rack. What do you got, a second rack here?
Yeah, second rack today, and then we'll have even more tomorrow, of course, as we get further into Saturday. Utah visiting Oklahoma State. Good early Big 12 game that you're going to have there. Of course, Utah, first time they're going to Stillwater since joining the Big 12. Miami and USF we did talk about earlier. Cal has their first ACC game in Tallahassee against Florida State, who, of course, is out to an 0-3 start. Big game Saturday night in Norman, Tennessee, who has been outstanding, over a touchdown favorite on the road against the Sooners. Baylor and Colorado, also Big 12 action under the lights Saturday night in Boulder.
I think Sanders can win that game, to be honest with you. I think Tennessee can win in Norman. I haven't been impressed with Venable's team at all. That hook might be a dangerous commodity in that game. Cal is playing better football than Florida State. That's just all there is to it. So I can see why people would take the Bears in Tally. But this is a gigantic road game for Cal. They played in Berkeley on Saturday against San Diego State, and they got to fly to Tallahassee. That's a monstrous trip. Florida State has to win a football game, or they're going to fire Mike Norvell. They are desperate to win this football game. So I like desperate teams. I think South Florida covers the number in Tampa, 16.5 against Miami. I want Miami to win, obviously, but that number's too juicy for me. And then I think Oklahoma State will beat Utah because I think Utah is going to Stillwater for the first time and dealing with those Polk fans. That's a hostile place playing at that stadium. I think Oklahoma State and Gundy's team is tough. I think that's going to be a great game. I like Oklahoma State.
A couple of notes from that rack. First of all, Cam Rising, who didn't play last week for Utah, he is going to play in Stillwater against Oklahoma State. As we've said many times before, I know everybody gets excited about Cam Rising. He's not Joe Montana. I know that everybody gets excited about him, and he's 37 years old, and he's still playing quarterback in college. And Oklahoma, as a home underdog, 4-1 ATS since 1998. Of course, you're going to see a lot of Oklahoma numbers as home dogs here coming up. I got to tell you, I like this one a lot, Scotty. I think Tennessee is going to smash Oklahoma. Maybe not to the level that they smashed NC State and Kent State and some of these other teams, but I think Tennessee is going to smash Oklahoma in Norman on Saturday night.
I mean, Oklahoma had troubles last week at home, and now they're playing a team that's really legit. I mean, right now, Tennessee is, top 10 in the country in college football. They're going to the playoff if they keep winning.
They certainly are. And look, I just think it's going to be like that NC State game. Oklahoma's not going to be able to score with them. Tennessee gets up 14, 21.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's going to be looking at each other going, what are we doing here? Like, we can't keep up with this pace.
Picks.
Exactly. Boom. Bingo. 94% of the tickets are already on Ole Miss minus the 35 this week. 93% on Texas minus the 44.5. I know you sent me this earlier. Notre Dame minus 28 against Miami of Ohio. 87% of the tickets on Notre Dame, Scotty. I guess everybody thinks you're just, don't. It's just 2 weeks ago. Remember, it was just 2 weeks ago. Don't get too blinded by the 66 points last week against Purdue.
Very leery of some of the numbers of tickets that are being bet on these teams, and anything over 80, 85, 90% of the actions on a team. I told you before, man, these books are licking their chops at. When 90% of the public bets one way, they're having cocktail parties behind the window. Believe me, they're under the window. They got drinks, martinis, and you think they're having water. They're drinking martinis out of coffee cups. Trust me, they're making so much money off of you people. It's not even funny because everybody thinks they got all the answers, and the reality is the sportsbook has all the answers.
Miami's on that list too against USF at 87%.
Oh yeah, and I already told you I like.
It's a done deal. It's a done deal. One last thing on the ACC. They are mulling a new revenue structure to resolve the lawsuits with FSU and Clemson. So obviously this has been going on for the last couple of years. It looks like the ACC is trying to do things, and they're going to shorten that grant of rights thing where they can get out of the league down to, I think it's 2030 or 2031, somewhere around there from where it is. So it sounds like, Scotty, maybe all the legal entanglements between FSU, Clemson, and the ACC might end soon.
Well, look, first of all, I don't believe that it makes sense for either one of them to leave. Secondly, I don't think Clemson actually truly believes that they should leave. And thirdly, I think Florida State has looked so awful and so humiliated losing every game they played. The second time that Norvell's been 0-3 in a few years in Tallahassee, he's butchered that job. Last year, they had a great year. Everybody thought they should have been in the national championship game, and they didn't get in. And all he did was cry, moan, and threaten and sue people. And now nobody wants them in their conference. So they only have one, be careful what you wish for, because their home where they are now is a solid place. The ACC is still good. It's still good football. It's great basketball. It's a great conference. I don't believe any of this nonsense. And they don't matter as much as they think they do. Like the Big Ten and the SEC, neither one of them want anything to do with the Seminoles. And they suck this year. I mean, they are literally garbage. They are garbage. That's all there is to it. Their season is already over. If they rattled off 9 straight wins, I will keel over. They're not winning 9-3. They're not winning 9 straight games. No. They're not that good. So they should shut up and stay where they are and just realize their girlfriend's fat and ugly and love her all they can.
They certainly should do that. That's for sure. All right, we'll do some of the award stuff tomorrow, and I'll give you more college football games then. You can come back and talk about the Woj thing. I got a big Bulldog game tonight, so we're hoping on the Bulldogs. Roof, roof. Hopefully the Bulldogs bark a little bit for us against the Ducks. Let's go.
Ray Lewis and the Bulldogs with a game that they can win tonight on Strong Island. They are under a tremendous amount of pressure, these kids. Get them some chewing tobacco.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was clicking! But he had that one river going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
All right, leftovers. As I fill for Carver High, big game tonight. He's got to get his team ready. I understand all the pressure. But Woj retires from ESPN and the media altogether to take the GM job for St. Bonaventure basketball, his alma mater. Obviously, I'm all for it, bro. Do whatever you got to do to get your rocks off. You want to be happy in life. Do what you want in life. This is something he always wanted to do, and he's fulfilled his media career in terms of being a great basketball reporter and certainly breaking more stories than any basketball reporter anywhere. And he's incredible at his job. The thing that's amazing to me is the funeral they gave this guy on ESPN today. Now, I get it. That's his network. But I have never seen anything like it. I mean, I saw like 30 different on-air hosts spend at least a minute to 90 to sometimes 2 minutes going on diatribes about how much Woj meant to their life and their career. And they gave him this procession. You would have thought it was the Pope. Honestly, like that the Pope had died. They treated him like he died. At one point, and I love Adam Schefter. I've been friends with him. I don't really care. Adam's on there talking about we lost Chris Mortensen and now we've lost Woj. Now, there's a big difference, Adam. Chris died of cancer and Woj just took another job. And it was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my life. All these people sucking up to this guy today. There is Dan Rather. When Dan Rather left CBS, they didn't do this. I could go on and on. Nora O'Donnell, Scott Belly, Matt Lauer. I know he was a creep, but everyone loved him. Everyone loved that guy on TV when he was on there. I mean, they don't have these funerals for TV and radio talents. Like everyone spends all day talking about him. All he did was take another job. I've never seen anything like you would have thought the guy was, literally the president of the United States. I've never seen anything like it in my career. WNBA adds a 15th franchise as Portland will begin play in 2026. Varela finish, a judge dismisses a suit that accused James Dolan of sexual assault. Your boy, JD, off the hook. Alexander Usyk gets detained in a Polish airport and arrested. The Ukrainian President Zelensky aids in his release. I think they thought that he was drunk, but he had been flying for 14 hours and was like jet lagged and was like delirious and everything. And he wasn't drunk at all, and they let him go. But nowadays, here's a little advice for you. Don't go to Russia. Don't go to Poland. Don't go to places that they arrest you and put you in prison for the rest of your life. An ex-doctor pleads guilty to helping a woman's assisted suicide at a New York motel. They're now killing people, assisted suicides in hotels. Human remains found in a suitcase outside a Long Island apartment building. We always love stuffing bodies in suitcase stories here on Coast to Coast. A hero dad pries his 5-year-old son from the jaws of a mountain lion that grabbed him at Malibu State Creek Park in Cali. An Austrian man arrested for having sex in a Japanese shrine. My guy went into the shrine like a holy temple and started doing bad things sexually. And now he's been arrested and he'll be in a Japanese prison forever. A 47-year-old fatally shot in the head at a New York City subway station. I only bring this up because it happens every single day in New York City. Someone is shot or stabbed in a subway station. Hey, anybody want to go for a joyride on the subway in New York City with me? A New York family loses out on their $8,500 dream vacation as their delayed flight causes them to narrowly miss their cruise ship, which they got to the dock and had to watch as the cruise ship was a half a mile out of the dock and in open waters, sailing away with their vacation. What could be worse? I would immediately go to the bar and start drinking. A Long Island mom who killed her 9-year-old son in a wrong-way crash has her license suspended. Listen to this. For the 57th time. Who keeps giving this woman a driver's license? She is a junkie drunk who killed her own son driving the wrong way on a freeway at high noon. She was hammered driving her kid around and filled with pills and cocaine, and someone keeps giving her a license. There are idiots everywhere. GTV is next. Go to BrawlOnEvents.com. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 on Coast to Coast.
Versus the book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. It's your quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the book.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for, so I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. Mm-hmm. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall, Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
Sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on sport.